President Obama will go to Copenhagen next month for a major climate change summit. That word today coming from the White House, and it comes as Congress is still divided over new climate change legislation. Meanwhile, the global warming controversy, that is heating up as well after hackers have made public some of these sensitive emails. Our CNN's Brooke Baldwin, she's got the story. Brooke, tell us what this is about, the center of this controversy over the emails.
Suzanne, how about the timing of all of this? Yes, we are talking about hundreds of emails and documents spanning just about a decade here among prominent climate scientists, and they had been hacked, as you mentioned, fanning really debate over whether some scientists might have exaggerated their case for man-made climate change. The consensus that the climate is changing, that the burning of fossil fuels is a significant factor, goes way beyond the pop culture sensation of Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth and his appearance on last week's episode of 30 Rock on NBC.
Kenneth, encourage your lawmakers to take action and recycle everything, including jokes.
I'm sorry, sir, what?
Quiet. A whale is in trouble. I have to go.
So when a reputable climate research institute has its computer server hacked and hundreds of its private emails made public, the news gets around fast, especially from groups that don't believe the global warming consensus. One email attributed to the research center's director had this cryptic excerpt referring to the, quote, trick of adding in the real temps to each series to hide the decline in temperature. Because there's very little context in that email and the others, it's hard to know what they'll all add up to. The climate research unit in question here posted a message calling this email hack job mischievous and saying it is helping the police investigate. Senator James Inhofe has for many years portrayed this data showing the warming trend as a hoax and sees the emails as evidence.
I'm pleased by the vast and growing number of scientists, politicians, and reporters all over the world who are publicly rejecting climate alarmism. This is those who want to scare people into some kind of action. You know, the water's going to rise up, the world's coming to an end.
But the White House energy czar points to the 2,500 climate scientists all around the world who agree the climate is warming and that these emails aren't changing that. As for the American public, according to a Washington Post ABC News poll out this week, the number of Americans who believe global warming is happening is down from 80 to 72% from last year. Down, but still a large majority.
We really do have a global warming. The polar bears are getting in trouble, and the glaciers are melting.
I do think that we tend to blow things a little bit out of proportion, but I do think we need to be concerned.
I think it is overhyped. I think some of it is attributed to man, but not all of it.
That same Washington Post ABC News poll shows since 2006, the increase in climate skepticism is driven largely by a shift within the Republican Party and independents. There was also a dip among Democrats, but small. Still, a majority of respondents support a national cap on greenhouse gas emissions. Now, back to those hacked emails and the documents. We also want to point out that it suggests that some scientists pressured journals not to publish work of those who question whether the Earth is, in fact, warming. But again, here, all of this coming out weeks, as you mentioned, Suzanne, ahead of Copenhagen's climate summit, where President Obama will, in fact, be attending. And today, the White House announced that the president is prepared, speaking of those caps here, to put on the table U.S. emissions reduction target in the range of 17% below 2005 levels. That deadline for 2020 and by 83% by 2050. And, you know, this will ultimately be in line with targets laid out in a bill passed by the House earlier this year, Suzanne.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And obviously a problem potentially for the administration relying on Congress to make this thing happen. So thank you very much. Well, former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin is going to get top billing at what is being called the first National Tea Party convention.